well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and go to sleep. But I was by that building because you told me to stop there. And then I went back to that building because you told me to stop there twice. So you told me to stop by that business building twice. So you're a husband that just wants to tell the gods you don't want to be a husband anymore or something. All you gotta do is say that. But if you just told a police officer to get rid of me, there's burglary in the area, then whatever. But if you're connected to the United States, that police officer has to die because he's not a good person. So he'd have to die. Because when he showed up behind me as a police officer, this country has murdered me. And when police officers pull me over, it abuses the holy hell out of my death. Therefore, they have to die for all of it. So if you told a police officer to just make me go away, they might live, otherwise they won't live. And they won't be able to get help from a hospital by tomorrow. So I need to ask every husband. Okay, so let me just reverse this. Because apparently I wasn't even going to go to that building. A husband told me to go to that building. I parked there, but then I got a ride. So then the same husband told me to go back and park at that building. And pointed out the name on the building and told me to park there. And then made sure a police officer harassed and abused my death. Which, if he's just a husband of God's that just wants a police officer to help me to know not to go into the area because I went there once the first time, that might be an issue where they can still live. But they have to die for being a threat to the death of God or any abuse to the death of God. So as husbands, okay, let's say you're a husband. Okay, what did I say before? A husband is somebody who worked from childhood to belong to the power of the greatness of the collective gods and me that came down here. So a husband worked from childhood to be connected to the biggest and best gods in existence for the overall end of the world purpose of God against everything, against God. So they worked from childhood, and then they get chosen by all these gods that pick out every husband I have. And then I'm supposed to claim every husband with my powers and turn them into an appropriate husband of God's. If you don't want to be all this husband process, you just tell the gods respectfully that you don't want to be part of this husband process. It's that easy. You just think or say, my queen, my queen, my queen. I realized that I worked from like 2 years old to be a giant among gods, and I don't want anything to do with it anymore. I just don't want Bonnie or anybody near me, and I just want to be a human that goes back to human things. It's that easy. When you ask a police officer to do things to me, you're potentially killing that police officer forever. Because law enforcement is connected to the murder of God in this country, I can kill them, and I'm ordered to do so. So I'm not allowed to let a police officer live. And that's a very scary thing. I'm a very responsible dead God. I don't want to just sit and kill everybody all the time. I'm not the United States of America. I didn't create ISIS and sex trafficking and hide behind it to murder all day because I murdered some god and got weird and addicted to death. I'm not the United States of Dubai that did this to me. I'm a responsible, appropriate God. I don't want to sit around and kill and slaughter the soul of everything all day, every day. You're supposed to destroy the death of a soul when they're that goddamn evil. Stop making me have to kill everything that won't stop abusing me. Now, the only good news is that every time I kill forever in the soul, the United States pays the ultimate price for all those souls that have to die because the United States did this and put everything and everybody in these predicaments. But you're a husband who worked from childhood to belong to the greatness of the power of God. You should have enough up here to know not to get people to threaten or go against me, because they'll die forever and it's not right. So you should have enough up in your little husband brain to just say, I renounce belonging to gods. I'll just respectfully ask the gods to not be a husband anymore. I will go through my queen to not only ask to not be part of the husbandry anymore, because I know that I'm the one that started it from childhood trying to be a husband, but I also will ask that just Bonnie never goes near my existence, because I want to go back to just human things and have nothing else to do with anything. You don't have to put threats and horrifying nightmares everywhere. If a police officer ever gets near me, I'm ordered to kill them forever. Because 9 times out of 10, they are fueled and backed by the United States and the by that murdered me, and must be put in part of the threat against the death of God and killed. Do you really want a bunch of random people to die all the time? They have a paycheck and a house. The United States needs to die forever in the most unthinkable death ever created. They murdered God and more. These are just random people in a bad predicament where every god is fighting against nobody humans who had the nerve to murder God. Seriously. And I understand. If the United States murdered God, they don't think they're ever going to pay for anything, or the threat of anything means anything. But you're a husband, and you know they're going to pay for everything they've done. There's no God that wouldn't make them pay. Please don't put innocent life in danger. You could just ask me to leave. I didn't plan to go there in the first place. You could have just said whatever you were going to say as a husband and then told me to just go. I mean, all you did was say, I have a business and I'm a single person who has sex. Like, really? So that's an excuse to ask a police officer to harass my death? Turn his lights on so I feel a threat, like the United States is going to murder me again, and I feel that massive collapse of my own death about being murdered by a country, just have weird lights behind me in the threats of what they've done to me all these years. And like, what? You think you shouldn't pay a price for getting police officers killed by playing games against the abuse of the death of God? You know, grow up as a husband. Spell out whatever the fuck your problem was, and then live up to it. But you know what? Next time, make sure you die, not somebody else.